Good evening. I'm Professor Chad Kauffman at Cal U's Digital Media Meteorology Lab here in the Department of Earth Sciences. Just to give you some of the weather headlines that are upcoming this week here in western Pennsylvania and across the Mid-Atlantic. Our students will be giving much more detailed forecasts moving forward, but tonight we just want to give you kind of an idea and a tease of what's going to be taking place going forward. We recently just finished the month of January, so it's always a good time to take a look at some of the climate parameters, what has taken place and what has transpired. So our friends at the High Plains Regional Climate Center have the Applied Climate Information System, which allows us to plot some of the more recent climate data and allow us to plot it spatially and see the differences across a given region. So we have the Mid-Atlantic here, where we had through the month of January about normal to slightly below normal temperatures in through West Virginia. But as you head toward New England, it was still a bit mild, similar to how it was in December 2015. So we've come back to normal for the most part, only here in the western Pennsylvania area for the month of January. And we're seeing some trends going into February that will bring a bit of a mixed bag of temperatures and precipitation going forward. One of our more interesting weather elements this week is a burgeoning area of low pressure coming into the Colorado Plateau, Rocky Mountains here, enhanced by a really vigorous subtropical jet. Some of the wind speeds here are over 130 knots or more. So that's really helping to energize this trough as the winds come around the base and it digs in a little further. As the low and the surface reflection of that low begins to really develop here in the lee of the Rockies in through Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa, the next 48 hours or so, we're going to see a vigorous interchange of air masses and precipitation. So a little bit of severe weather on the front side and some significant snowfall on the opposite or northern or poleward side of that low pressure system. We get a better chance to see that if we look at some of our synoptic features here, the frontal boundaries with the cold front helping to eject some of those colder temperatures out into West Texas. But again, out ahead of that, once we begin to tap some of this Gulf moisture, the ability for us to drive some of the temperatures northward into this boundary zone here helps to promote a bit more precipitation. And so there are in fact blizzard watches indicated by the National Weather Service in a few of these counties in through Nebraska and Iowa moving forward. So there's certainly a lot of detail to be worked out here yet, but there is some significant hazards for a lot of people in the next 72 hours or so into the Midwest and High Plains. The other concern moving forward is this, as we move into Tuesday, yes, it'll certainly get colder on the other side of this low pressure system, but out ahead of it, once we really are able to tap some of that deeper Gulf moisture, there is a significant zone here near Memphis and other parts of western Kentucky and southern Illinois where a severe weather outbreak is possible on Tuesday as well. So this is the day this week that I think will have the greatest chance for activity of the severe weather variety. So we're going to take a look and see what our friends at the Storm Prediction Center have posted. They do highlight an area here more focused toward Nashville. This is the day 2 outlook, identifying a region here in the Gulf states where they're concerned about some severe weather kicking off on Tuesday into Wednesday. What it means for us here in Pittsburgh, as we're on the front side of this cyclone, usually we warm up with some southerly winds. This is a GFS metagram plot, so it's just one model's solution of how we expect temperatures, max and min to be able, what the resolution is for that going forward, as well as some precipitation probabilities. So we can trace out for each day going this direction some of the predicted temperatures. So we're out into, this is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so you can see out ahead of that our max temperatures really do kick up toward the 50s again, somewhat similar to what it was the early part of the weekend. But with the warming temperatures ahead of that system, precipitation chances increase as well. And it really does look like a really moist system. So some of these 6-hour accumulated precipitation amounts are upwards of over 1/2 inch of rainfall. So this bears monitoring for some flood concerns, especially those areas out east and south of here that had a significant snowpack. But if you follow this forward throughout the rest of the week into the weekend and beyond the weekend, we really see a bit of a dip here late in the period, at least according to this one set of solutions. So part of the reason why that's taking place is we look at another GFS prognostication for the 500 millibar heights, and we can identify a really deep trough that dives in a good 238 hours out, or essentially the 10th of February. So that is of concern as well, because if there is any kind of interaction here with another low pressure on the front side of this trough, we could have another weather story to talk about in the 9 to 10 day period or so. But this is really a significant dip in the jet out a good 9 days or so. So that's where we're headed the next few days. And I hope that you check back with some of our student forecasters this week in the CalU Digital Media Meteorology Lab. Thank you.